Welcome back to another episode of the A Sports Podcast. My name's Art, here with my brother Alex.
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Alex, huge weekend in UFC/MMA and boxing. So let's jump right into it because we got a lot to talk about. This is going to be a very long podcast, I feel. The main event of the weekend, Kamaru Usman knocked out Jorge Masvidal in the second round. Time of the stoppage was 1:02. Give me your thoughts on Usman versus Masvidal.
Oh, man. Talk about eating crow. I ate a lot of crow this week. Jesus. But, I mean, man, you got to give it up to Usman. He's definitely the real deal. A complete animal.
Coming into the fight, you mentioned how Masvidal's stand-up game, making the adjustments when it came to wrestling. And I thought Usman was going to be able to just out-wrestle Masvidal for 5 rounds. I don't think anybody saw a knockout like what we saw coming. That was vicious, and that was scary for the future of the 170-pound division. Because, you talked about how Masvidal's 36, could be his last shot at a title. Usman's 33 years old.
Yeah.
He's got a ways to go unless he wants to call it quits, but he has the opportunity to be champion for a long time. What's next for Kamaru Usman?
I don't know. I mean, they're saying Colby Covington's the next guy in line, so I think that's the next fight to make. I think that would be a good one.
Like I just mentioned, you talked about Masvidal, this being his last opportunity at a title fight. Where does Masvidal go from here?
I don't know. I mean, it could be Leon Edwards. The winner of Leon Edwards, Nate Diaz. Gilbert Burns is there. I'm not sure who else. I mean, it depends how far down he's gonna fall in the rankings.
He beat Wonderboy, right?
No.
Or have they fought?
Wonderboy beat him, but
Wonderboy
it was a while back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but to touch up on this fight, it was definitely a good showing by Usman. I mean, it seemed like, Masvidal did get clipped in that first round. He got caught with a couple of really good shots, clean shots. I was pretty worried. I'm not gonna lie. He got clipped by the basics. Like what Usman was throwing was the hook, the straight right. Right down the pipe. He was using his jab. He was keeping everything simple. And it seemed like Masvidal was, he was just trying to be confident in there. He was trying to fight the way he always fights. But, it definitely came back to bite him in the butt, man. Because it was a nasty shot he took, man. That would have flatlined anybody. Yeah. And what was crazy to me was that he wasn't completely out when he fell. Obviously he fell. He was out like, he just wasn't out cold yet. And it seemed like he was trying to get up. You could see him right there trying to grab his leg, whatever. But those hammerfists just completely knocked him out cold. What's pretty crazy to me? I never knew how much damage hammerfists could do. But I guess apparently, these guys, they have, muscle right here from hitting, metal posts, barbells, whatever the case, to try to, get calluses. You know how boxers get, really big knuckles? These guys get, muscle right here, which is weird. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, when he started hitting those hammer fists, he knew exactly where to place them, right on the chin. Mm-hmm. Even that right hand, he was aiming for the chin. If you look in that first round, Masvidal got hit with that punch, I think twice. But this one, Jesus, he loaded completely up. And, boy, when he hit, oh, man, you saw the sweat, fly off his head. His head did a complete 360. It looked like his neck went limp. His neck was over here. I was like, oh man, it looked bad.
That was a scary looking knockout.
And this one hurt me. One hurt me. Yeah. It was in front of his family, his friends, and basically his hometown in Florida. And man, it sucked. 50 pro fights, you never get knocked out. Who would think that this would be the day? Definitely. And not much else you can say.
One thing I do want to say is I'm on Twitter a lot at Turi_805. Go give me a follow. A lot of talk about Masvidal being a journeyman. And this came off of Colby Covington. Alex is about to drink his sorrows away. a lot of this.
And what better way to drink your sorrows away than a Broken Skull IPA, best IPA in America?
I think we're driving up the price of Broken Skull IPA.
It could be. It could be us. You know why? Because I'll be honest. I did buy from this place, and literally the next time I tried to buy, it was already up $2, which was, that was no coincidence to me. I don't think that was a coincidence. Now, if it goes up again from the last time that I bought, then I definitely know it was my fault. So I'm gonna have to start going to different places because in this case, it's gonna keep going up.
Mm-hmm. This talk. I wanted to bring up this talk about Masvidal being a journeyman, and I saw it on Twitter after Colby Covington brought it up, and Colby Covington was talking smack, this and that. People on Twitter were talking about how you look at Masvidal's record, and he's never really been that good. Blah blah blah. In the UFC, especially, it's not about your record in total. It's about what kind of streak you go on.
Yeah.
And Masvidal hadn't lost since Damian Maia, I think?
Yeah, I think so.
I think Damian Maia was his last loss, and this was 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
So
there was a time though where he didn't fight. When he came back and fought Till, he had been out for like a year, maybe 2 years. He was doing this reality show.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't like on English. Like he had to get shipped somewhere, and it was like some type of it was kind of like Ninja Warrior type stuff.
Oh,
yeah, all that type of stuff. Yeah.
I was trying to look up Masvidal's record since then, but I mean he's been on a tear. I think it was since the Darren Till, Ben Askren, Nate Diaz. So he was 3 in a row. He lost to Damian Maia and Wonderboy in 2017.
Yeah.
But the knockout of Till, the knockout of Ben Askren, and the stoppage of Nate Diaz, I mean, those 3 fights put you in title shot contention. Like, I don't care what people say that he's a journeyman or this and that.
Right.
He's got 3 good wins. He had 3 good wins in a row. People can say what they want about Ben Askren, but it still was a good win at the time. He pretty much retired him. I think he only fought once after that. So this whole Masvidal's a journeyman stuff, I'm not buying. Respect to Masvidal for what he's been able to do in MMA. Come on, he went from a street fighter to, a mixed martial artist against trained guys, and he made it to where he is now. So, big respect to him.
Yeah, definitely. Tip my hat off to him.
I thought he handled himself very well after the fight. I would like to see him fight again. I don't care what people say.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
you said, Leon Edwards, Nate Diaz winner. Maybe even Wonderboy again.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. He has asked for that one.
I think Masvidal's a lot better than he was, back then. Right. So I think there's still a lot of opportunities for Masvidal. Usman, they say the Colby Covington rematch is probably the best fight to make, and I agree. I think that's the best fight to make.
Yeah.
For Usman. Any last thoughts on this fight?
No. I mean, overall, it was a good build-up, a good, I guess, a good 2 fights. It just, it sucks it had to end like this, but I mean, what can you say? When you have Kamaru Usman, that he just seems like he's getting better and better.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like he's definitely sharpening up those tools on the feet, and to go along with his ground game that's really good already.
Mm-hmm.
So he sharpens those tools on the feet. I mean, this guy's gonna be a force to be reckoned with.
I also saw a tweet about guys when they find their striking ability, they kind of fall in love with the strikes.
Could be.
We saw Kamaru Usman with a vicious takedown in the first round where he pretty much slammed Masvidal down. So I don't think, Usman is going away from what he knows, but because we clearly saw the takedown and, some of the ground and pound by Kamaru Usman, but hey, with that striking, I mean, he could do whatever he wants in the octagon with these guys.
He can do the same thing that Khabib did. I mean, he threatens the takedown. It's gonna leave these guys to get open, or to be open for a clean shot. Because I mean, look at what happened with Conor McGregor. I mean, he got caught by an overhand right, and it was because he thought the takedown was coming, and Khabib threw that overhand right, clipped him right on the chin, and dropped him. So I think Kamaru Usman could do the same thing.
Yep. We're gonna go through the rest of the main card. Alex, first main card in a long time that had no decision.
Yeah, I mean,
No decisions.
let's go to the next slide so I can eat some more crow.
Thug Rose. Rose
Rose.
Namajunas gets a first round knockout. Time 118 of the first round over Zhang Weili. Weili Zhang. We were calling her Weili Zhang. Apparently it's Zhang Weili.
I don't care what her name is anymore.
She's still a beast though. I mean, she's still solid. It's just she got caught with a nice kick. Talk to me about Thug Rose.
I mean, Thug Rose, I really didn't think she was gonna have, what it took to beat a champion like Weili Zhang. I thought Weili Zhang was gonna be a lot tougher than, she showed. But Thug Rose, I mean, she definitely set that kick up beautifully. It looked like she was literally looking at her leg. It looked like she was gonna go for the leg kick. I mean, she sold it very well, and goes up with the head kick. And I mean, Weili Zhang had no idea that it was coming. I mean, she moved her leg out of the way, but I mean, clipped her right on the chin. She felt like Stipe Miocic style, the leg bent back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then she was looking up at the lights. There's a report coming out that she accused Keith Peterson of being on whiskey and some cigarettes. I don't know if that's true, but yeah, I mean, that was a clean knockout. Tip my hat off to Rose Namajunas, man. I eat crow. I really didn't think she had that type of mindset, but I mean, she showed after her losses or her loss to come back to win the title from Weili Zhang that, had been on a tear. She had just beaten Jessica Andrade. She had just beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk in a Fight of the Year candidate. And she won it fair and square. I mean, tip my hat off to her. What about you? What did you think about it?
She's the best. She's the best. She was saying it before the fight. She's the best. And I didn't think it was gonna go like this. Like this was like first round. You
were crying during the fight. What happened?
I was crying after the fight, dude.
Why were you crying?
Because all the stuff she went through after she lost to Andrade, she got dropped on her head.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I don't want to take anything away from Andrade's victory, but it's kind of a fluke victory when you get dropped on your head like that,
Call it what you want.
Yeah, that's how I'm gonna call it. Not taking anything away from Andrade, but it's just it's like we'll talk about later. It's the fight game. Anything can happen. So Namajunas, she gets dropped on her head. There was a lot of talk about the pressure of her being champion and how she felt uncomfortable being the champion. All the media and all the stuff that comes with being UFC champion. She didn't feel too comfortable with after the loss, COVID and everything coming together. Worried about COVID. She wasn't training for a while. I mean, all this stuff kind of piling up on her. Like I said, if she would not have taken that Andrade fight, this could have been a different story. But she showed in the Andrade fight that she's able to overcome that adversity and be back to herself. And she looked really comfortable in there. She had a plan. She executed it. The kick was almost like a check hook.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I mentioned to you is, it wasn't a hard kick. It's not like she loaded it up with everything. But, little fake, eye fake to the legs, kick up top, and it just landed clean and flush. And she was able to get the finish. You mentioned something about Weili Zhang. I think she's tough, very tough. She was able to get up. She didn't know what happened. Like you could tell she was out, but she was able to get up. Like her body was still functioning. So I would like to see a rematch.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that it would go very similar.
That could be it could be a big possibility. I think that I just think Rose Namajunas is maybe just learning. She's putting all her tools together to be the best strawweight in the division. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I don't know the way that Weili Zhang took the loss. I don't know if it was because she got knocked out. Maybe she didn't know exactly where she was and everything like that. But it could well be it'll end the same. Because I mean, these guys that train with Trevor Whitman, Justin Gaethje, Kamaru Usman, Rose Namajunas, it seems like they hit like animals. I don't know what it is that he's teaching, but
a lot of it is form and technique, I think.
Yeah, and
because we saw Rose, she was very well position to throw those leg kicks, and she didn't have to like change positions to make that kick go from the leg to the head because she landed a couple leg kicks.
Yeah.
But she didn't have to really adjust too much to make that a head kick. She just kind of just threw it, and it was able to land. I'm trying to look up real quick. They actually still have Weili Zhang up as champion. Jojacek is second. Yan Xiaonan is third. Esparza 4. Mackenzie Dern 5. Mackenzie Dern came off a good win. Joanna versus Namajunas 3. Is it worth watching?
No.
No, right?
I think that's next in line. Who's the Yan?
Yan.
I think that's another Chinese fighter. I seen a picture of her, but I just don't know. I just hadn't seen her before, and then it also looked like Carla Esparza was gonna get a chance. So who knows? I mean, and Mackenzie Dern has that marketability right now.
True.
What about Amanda Ribas? Where did she go in the rankings? Did she move up or
she's at 11.
She dropped. Did she drop down after the loss to who did she lose to?
She lost to
I can't remember who she lost to.
Matafari?
Was it Matafari?
I thought it was.
I don't know who it was
I thought she lost to Matafari.
Yeah, she lost to somebody.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I think those top three, Carla Esparza and then the other Chinese fighter, I think maybe those two either get the next shot.
Okay.
It would make sense, I think.
How we just talked about Jojacek and a third fight with Namajunas. What kind of fight does Joanna need to win? Do you think maybe if she were to beat Weili Zhang,
yeah,
she could get a title shot?
That could be another rematch to look forward to. Maybe Weili Zhang gets the immediate rematch.
Oh,
who knows?
True.
I mean, Dana White does tend to favor, if he feels like that was kind of a fluke win or something, then he might do the immediate rematch. But all in all, Rose Namajunas definitely pulled it off. She got the good win. I would want to see the rematch right away, but I wouldn't mind these other girls getting a shot. Why not?
Completely agree. Thug Rose, she's the best.
Yeah.
Thug Rose. Oh, shoot. Spoiler alert. Valentina Shevchenko gets a stoppage victory over, God damn it, I just blinked out. Jessica Andrade.
Yeah.
Second round, 3:19 of the second round. She had her in the crucifix and was landing some vicious elbows. Valentina doing Valentina things. If you guys hadn't seen Valentina Shevchenko before, first of all, shame on you. She's probably pound for pound number 2 on the planet behind Amanda Nunes. And she has a close decision loss to Amanda Nunes. So, and she just dominated again at, what is this, 125? No, 135, right?
125.
125, sorry. 125. Is there anybody that can compete with Valentina Shevchenko?
I said it in the last podcast. No. Nobody at 125 stands a chance right now.
She's fought Shukagan, Lauren Murphy. I mean, none of these girls, like, the best thing for her to do would be to move up to fight Amanda Nunes, but even then, that's not a good idea.
Very risky, man, because Amanda Nunes is a big girl.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, I mean, Shevchenko, she did it in a different way than we thought. I thought she was going to get a knockout win, but she had no problems taking it to the ground, showing a different part of her game that she's showed it before.
We talking about Andrade and how strong she is and how strong she would be at this new weight. She was moving up in weight, and she looked weak compared to Shevchenko. Valentina was able to control her. She have like 6 takedowns or something like that, 7 takedowns. Yep. That 7th one was where she set up the crucifix at the end.
Andrade tried to pick her up and slam her like 3 times,
and she just couldn't
do it.
It's just ridiculous. This is what I'm worried about now with Valentina Shevchenko. She's getting into that realm of invincibility where Amanda Nunes is. Like, none of the girls are going to compete with her. So what is there for her to do? Yes, you could keep defending your title time and time again, but if there's no sturdy competition, nobody's going to tune in to watch.
Right.
And that's what I'm afraid of with Valentina and with Amanda Nunes. I'm all for women's MMA and women's boxing, but if there's no competition, very hard to sell. very hard to sell if there's not a threat in your division.
Yeah.
So
that girl that she fought before, Jessica Andrade, I don't know if she was Brazilian or not, but I think she went the distance with her. I mean, it wasn't a close fight, but I mean, I think she went the distance.
Yeah, but I mean, even a 5-round blowout gets kind of.
Or I don't know. I think she got stopped in the last round. Come to think of it,
could have been.
Yeah, forget what I said. I mean, there's no competition out there.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Next slide.
Before we move on to the next slide, viewer discretion advised. There was a gruesome injury, but we're gonna talk about it.
No, this is what we want to see.
Chris Weidman.
Oh man, look at that.
Lost by officially it was by TKO to Uriah Hall. We were very excited for this fight.
Yeah.
Just what it meant for both fighters. And Chris Weidman threw a leg kick, first leg kick. The only strike thrown in the fight it ended up being 17 seconds long, and he broke his shin, as you can see in the picture. Very gruesome injury.
Snapped in half.
Yes. Updates this morning, he had successful surgery. And when I read it, like at noon Pacific time, he was already out of surgery. So that's good, and he was in good condition, as good as you can be, I guess, after breaking your shin like that. Do you have anything to say about this fight?
No, I mean, I think it was just one of those freak things. I mean, Uriah Hall checked it beautifully. He kicked the knee, basically the bottom of the knee, and snapped his leg completely in half. I mean, a lot of people throw leg kicks. It doesn't happen, but Anderson Silva, he broke his leg kicking Chris Weidman. So talk about, the irony of it.
And Herb Dean was also the referee for that one. I went back and checked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about Herb Dean, but I mean, look at this guy's leg. It's in half. The leg's not supposed to bend like that.
You don't care about Herb Dean, dude. Herb Dean was a part of 2 of these. He got to see 2 of these. That's rough, man.
I don't care. What did you? Is he fighting? Did his leg break? I don't think so. I mean, Uriah Hall becomes the first UFC fighter to win a fight without throwing a strike. Without
throwing one strike at all.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
That time that SpongeBob beat up Patrick without even touching him. That's what that reminds me of.
Why am I laughing at this, man?
Because it's funny. He didn't even have to touch the guy, and he broke his leg. What? I knew Uriah Hall was a dangerous guy. All right.
Gosh, man.
Yeah, it definitely sucks for Chris Weidman. He's going to be out for about 7, 8, 9 months, possibly a year. Not to mention, he's going to have to do rehab and just try to get that leg back to normal. Hopefully it doesn't, hopefully he's able to fight again is what I'm hoping for him. Hopefully his recovery goes good and everything like that. And, what's next for Uriah Hall, though? What does it look like?
Chris Weidman is 37 in June. So to piggyback off of what you said, I hope he can get back. And, first, we saw what happened with Alex Smith. First, you got to walk. Then you got to, take the necessary steps to be able to do your cardio, run and stuff. And then eventually, hopefully, he does get back to fighting. So, hoping for the best for Chris Weidman. Uriah Hall's ranked number 9. Weidman was ranked 11th. I'm sure he'll fall out of the rankings for now. At number 10 is Edmund Shabazian. Gastelum is at 8. He's coming off that loss to Robert Whittaker. Any of these fights interest you for Uriah Hall?
I'm not sure. Maybe Calvin Gas. Maybe Darren Till. Him and Darren Till would be a good one. But Darren Till just had an injury.
Yeah, he had an injury. What about Jack Hermanson?
Jack Hermanson.
He has a win over Gastelum, right?
I don't know.
I think so.
Jared Cannonier, that could be a good one. Derek Brunson. So all these guys could be good. It could be a good fight for Uriah Hall. Maybe Edmund Shabazian, but he's has he fought since he lost to Derek Brunson?
Not sure. I don't think so.
Yeah, right. We haven't heard about him for a while. So yeah, maybe Uriah Hall can get back in there quick. I mean, he definitely didn't. He didn't have to throw a strike in here. He only had to take one, and he finished him. So that's definitely crazy. Hopefully, we get to see him back in there quicker rather than later. And how How about that? You want to jump to the next fight as far as not boxing, but what about Jimmy Crute versus Lionheart Smith?
Jimmy Crute versus Anthony Smith, dude.
If you bet on Anthony Smith, he was a plus 300, and he beat Jimmy Crute. Wow,
and he beat him in a freak way.
Yeah.
Explain the injury. You have a lot of knowledge of the injury from what you explained to me. So break it down. Break down what happened.
So there's a nerve behind your knee called the peripheral nerve, something like that. When you get kicked in that nerve, you can get like dead leg, and your leg just, it's happened in the Henry Cejudo versus Demetrius Johnson fight. Happened to Michael Chandler. Sugar Sean O'Malley is the recent fight where it happened. Now that I go back and I'm looking at some interviews, it seems like Dana White thinks that it wasn't the nerve, that something is really wrong with his knee, because now he got dead leg, but it seemed like he just never got the feeling back in his leg. Like after the fight was over, he went to go punch the octagon and his leg folded from under him. And then, he kept walking on the leg. I don't know what his problem is, but he kept walking on it. I don't know where his corner was. Like, did they not, bring the stretcher out,
the stool,
try to carry the guy? No, nobody bothered to tell him, like, hey, your leg is messed up. Sit down, rest it. The guy's over here risking, he could break his ankle, fracture his ankle, anything like that. I mean, obviously he didn't, he wanted to continue fighting, but he just couldn't, even his toes were like completely separated.
Like they were like they lost
complete they lost complete feel. Yeah. He lost complete feeling in his leg. I mean, it was done. Good stoppage by the ref. Great I was surprised that Anthony Smith, because Jimmy Crute he got like 3 takedowns with a bad leg. You know what I mean? Anthony Smith is lucky that fight got stopped, because a guy with one leg took you down 3 times, man. What's wrong with you, right? But hey, Lionheart Smith, man, talk about pulling off the upset. Plus 300 underdog. Something told me to bet on this fight. I didn't even do it, but no, man. It was a bad night of betting for me. Dude,
I mean, that's one thing I wanted to bring up. Anthony Smith lands that leg kick that you were talking about that hits that nerve, and Jimmy Crute, he tries to step on that right leg and he couldn't lift it back up and he just falls over. Smith goes to attack him and Crute,
gets the takedown.
I don't know what his background is, man. It must be wrestling, because right away he shot for like a double leg and was able to take him down, and Smith couldn't get back up.
Right.
So, and it seemed weird, that Crute couldn't, like, he fell over, and then with the takedown, he was like pushing off the right leg. Right. He was pushing off of it to keep Anthony Smith down, to control him. But then when it came, after the round to go to his corner, we were watching closely, and he twisted his ankle a couple times. Like you said, he had no feeling in his toes. His right leg was just gone.
Yeah.
So that's another scary situation. I don't, dude, I don't know. How do we get a nerve kick in fight 1 and a broken shin in fight 2? I wouldn't want to go out there to fight anymore. I'd be like, bro, that fucking cage is haunted or something.
Right? I mean, listen, Lionheart Smith, Anthony Smith was ranked number 6. Jimmy Crute was ranked, I believe, 11.
Yeah, I think so.
He was ranked 11. I read on Instagram, Jimmy Crute put out a post. He was thanking everybody. He said that he would have, he said that everybody, anybody that knows him knows he would have kept fighting it had they not stopped it. He said he would have ripped his own leg from his body and hit him with it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this guy's tough. Hey, props to Lionheart Smith for even giving him a shot. Yeah. And he beat him. I mean, what else can you say?
So where does Anthony Smith go from here? Because obviously this is a type of fight where your fight, Jimmy Crute was ranked 13th, by the way, even lower than what you thought. 13th. This is the type of fight where the UFC is like, okay, if you don't win this fight, like you're done. Like you're dropping way low in the rankings. Does he fight a top 5 guy, or does he fight like somebody in the between 7 and 10? I think Johnny Walker would be an interesting fight. Then again, Johnny Walker's been kind of up and down, since that injury.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure he'll give Jimmy Crute another chance because of what happened to his leg.
True.
You know what I mean? I think Dana White will give him the benefit of the doubt. So I don't really know where he goes from here, but hopefully he gets in there, soon. Doesn't seem like there was any, well, we're gonna have to wait till later on in the week to see what really happened. If it was the nerve or maybe something is really wrong with his knee, he's gonna have to have surgery or something. But hopefully that isn't the case.
Any of the other prelims you want to talk about? Alex Oliveira lost by rear naked choke.
Yep.
One-handed rear naked choke.
Listen, this Randy Brown guy's got some serious pop, man. He definitely wobbled Alex Oliveira a couple times and got the rear naked choke. So good win for Randy Brown.
Dwight Grant, Brandon Allen, Pat Sabatini, they all got wins. Any thoughts on them? Any of them?
No. I
They
didn't
were all
get a chance to really watch those ones.
They were all favorites. Early,
we also had to watch the boxing card, so one of them has to be sacrificed.
Early prelims that I did watch, Liang Na versus Ariane Carnelosi. Like that was the first fight out. They went at it. Like that was a complete war. Ariane Carnelosi ended up winning by second round stoppage. Also, Jeffrey Molina versus Aroki Lang. That fight was a war also. These guys came out to fight also. Jeffrey Molina pulled out the unanimous decision. Kazula Vargas against Rong Zhu. Rong Zhu was a big favorite. He ended up taking the loss in a unanimous decision. But all exciting fights. Danab Batgarel had a good stoppage against Kevin Natividad. Ooh. Rough names to say there, but they were exciting fights, even though I can't say the names. Any last thoughts on UFC 261?
Not really. I mean, I think we covered all of it now.
Make sure you guys check out our preview coming up this week for a UFC fight night. Dominic Reyes is taking on Pruchka, I think his last name is.
Not sure. I wasn't even looking at what was next.
Alex is like, I'm living right now. Let me look it up real quick. But yeah, we're gonna be previewing that. Yeah, Reyes against Pruchka. I think they say Pruchka. 2 top 5 light heavyweights. So that'll be a good one. We'll preview that later in the week. Now let's jump to boxing. We already brought it up a little bit earlier. Let's start with the main event, Top Rank on ESPN. Emmanuel Navarrete taking on Christopher Pitufo Diaz. Navarrete pretty much dominated for 12 rounds. Ended up getting the stoppage at the end. Any thoughts on this fight, Alex?
No. Emmanuel Navarrete just proved to be too much for Pitufo Diaz. He definitely, I thought Pitufo Diaz was going to be able to stay in the fight. It did look like he was trying to attack the body, kind of wear him down and save it for the later rounds, but Manuel Navarrete was just too much. He was catching him with that uppercut. He was using his footwork to really, just to throw him off and create openings for that uppercut. So it just seems like Emmanuel Navarrete is just too much of a beast right now for these guys.
At 126, he's awkward.
Yeah,
he
very
hits
awkward
hard,
guy.
Crazy angles. He's not easy to hit because of his length. I think 72-inch reach. I think Andre Ward said he had a 72-inch reach, and that's a super middleweight. So crazy. Navarrete, 126. I would like to see him, unify with some of these guys, but, we know that's not going to happen sometimes. Christopher Diaz, third time fighting for a title. Just can't get over that title fight hump. I like him as a fighter. I just, how many more chances can he get? He's that guy that beats everybody but the champions.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Another exciting fighter, Edgar Berlanga, made it out of the first round for the first time in his career and actually went to an 8-round decision against Damon Nicholson. And what are your thoughts on Berlanga?
Yeah, I mean he still showed the power. He did drop his guy multiple times, but he does have some work to do. That's for sure. I mean, any of these top guys he's gonna have a real problem with. So, if there's anybody that can take him out of that first round, whether the early storm, I think he definitely needs he needs to get. I feel like he needs to get out of that mindset of the KO. I feel like he looks for it too much. I feel like if he goes back to his roots, the combinations, and just learns how to box and put his combinations together, put everything more fluent, and not try to take everybody out in the first round. Maybe I'll have the stamina to go the full 8 rounds without getting gassed, without because it seemed like in this fight, do you think he got gassed?
I think he got a little tired.
Right.
I think
his power did save him.
Yes. I think just when you hit that hard, you try to throw everything with so much power to knock everybody out.
And you've knocked out your last 16 guys in the first round.
Yeah, no, I mean, can't argue that. But I think fights like this are good for him where you need to test that cardio because you could spar. I mean, I've seen guys spar 20 rounds, straight. And, but being in a fight is just different.
Right.
When it comes to fight night, those 12 rounds are different than sparring. So I think this is good for Berlanga. You know what I really like? And this is not a Berlanga thing. This is a fan thing. Nobody said, oh, Berlanga got exposed. You know how every time there's a knockout fighter and they don't get the knockout,
right? It's
like, oh, so-and-so got exposed. No, Berlanga didn't get exposed. Berlanga forgot a guy who could freaking survive and didn't try to, didn't just give up after getting hit one time.
Yeah.
Demond Nicholson was there to fight, and Nicholson landed some good punches of his own.
He did.
He was there to fight all night. But props to Berlanga for being able to navigate those 8 rounds. He put pressure when he had to. He landed the good punches when he could. Had Nicholson in trouble multiple times. The fight could have been stopped at any time. But, I mean, Nicholson was a damn good fighter for Berlanga, and I think these are the type of fights he needs.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I was happy. I'm a fan of Berlanga now.
Really?
Not outside the ring. Outside of the ring, he seems like a jerk, but inside the ring, he's a good fighter.
Really? Since when?
What, that he's a good fighter?
No, since when does he seem like a jerk outside the ring?
Oh, he was talking about his $150 haircuts. And
did he really?
He gets a chain every time he gets a first-round knockout and this and that.
Well, there is people that get like tattoos every time they win like a title fight or something.
Well, yeah, that's a title fight. I mean, this guy's 16-0 paying $150 for a haircut.
That could be. I mean, who knows? But when you got the first round knockout streak going,
true.
I'm sure he's getting some pretty good bonuses on top of that.
What were the odds on the first round knockout?
The odds. It wasn't even worth for you to bet on it because it was like minus 200.
Oh, so he was favored.
Yeah, he was favored to knock him out in the first round. I was gonna bet on the second round or the third. But good thing I didn't bet on any of it because it was. I
wonder what the decision was. The decision had to be.
I think the decision was like plus 900
for a decision.
For a decision, yeah.
Oh, fuck, that would have been a good bet.
But who would have thought Desmond Nicholson of all people was going to go the distance?
Well, actually, a lot of people thought Demond Nicholson was his toughest opponent, but also a savvy veteran, which we saw. He was able to hold. He was able to cover up. He was able to do the little things to survive.
Okay, I mean, don't know about that one. Okay.
One fight I did not watch, but you did watch.
I didn't watch this one. I saw glimpses of it, but it's very hard to watch Jose Vargas fight. I mean, he's a good, crafty fighter and everything, but it's very hard to watch him, and I'm sure I'm not the only one.
I agree. I mean, I've seen him in the past, and I got respect for fighters, and sure, the guy's a good fighter, but it's just, he just wins, and sometimes that's not good enough. Right. So no other thoughts on Vargas?
No. I mean, he did weather an early storm from the guy that he fought in the first.
Willie Shaw. Yeah,
Willie Shaw. He came out in the first round, was trying to take Jose Vargas' head off. He did land some good shots on him, but it seemed like Jose Vargas he was able to pick up the pace after he survived that first round. And after that, Willie Shaw just didn't really have anything for him. And Jose Vargas is a good, crafty fighter. It's just, it's nothing, the power, I feel like it, I feel like for it to fan friendly for people to want to sit there and watch. It just he's gonna have to get more stoppages, and maybe with time that'll come. Maybe with time that'll come. But yeah, I think he won this fight just solely on being the better boxer and being the better fighter. I think it just surfaced as the fight went on.
Yeah, I think Josue Vargas is due for a step up in competition.
Yeah. He's definitely a crafty guy. He's fast. He has good footwork. It just what do you think is next for him as far as what weight does he fight at? 130. 130?
Yep. 130.
Oh, 130. I would like to see him against some of those some of those champions.
Like Valdez?
Oscar Valdez, Burchell's still there. Burchell did come off of a tough knockout loss.
Shakur Stevenson.
Shakur Stevenson. If they could make that fight, I think those fights will probably be when one of them is champion and he's gonna defend it. Maybe Josue Vargas. Who's the other champion at 130? Remember that guy that fought the Colombian guy, the Colombian champion or Venezuela?
The one that beat Ray Alvarado.
Yeah, one of the Alvarado brothers.
Yeah, one of the Alvarado brothers. I forgot that guy's name.
Right.
But yeah, that's another one too. But that's a Golden Boy top rank thing. Shakur's top rank, so that's more probable. But yeah, I mean, next time I'll make sure I watch Josue Vargas.
Right.
This time I just couldn't watch it. One fight that we did watch.
Yeah.
That I think we were excited for before the fight, the battle of the two 14-0 fighters, Joseph Adorno taking on Jermaine Ortiz. And this fight lived up to the hype.
Yeah, it was definitely.
We hyped it up. We hyped it up. So if you watch the preview podcast, we hyped this fight up and they did not disappoint. I think, I'm going to be honest, I think Adorno disappointed a little bit. Even though he got the knockdowns, he disappointed a little bit. Jermaine Ortiz came to win. Your thoughts on this fight?
I mean, it was definitely a really good fight. My favorite fight on the card for sure. Two undefeated guys going at it. This is what we want to see. Both 14-0. And let me tell you, Jermaine Ortiz, it seemed like he was just better prepared that night. Joseph Adorno definitely does have some pop, man. He definitely has that KO power, that power that can end you in one shot. So you got to definitely be careful with a guy like Joseph Adorno. Although, like you said, I feel like his cardio is in question. I feel like his preparation in the gym, maybe that's in question. I don't know if Top Rank maybe has something, because the commentators were ripping him. I don't know, but I listen. It was a good fight. I can't argue with the draw. I mean, this fight went back and forth. Jermaine Ortiz won the majority of the rounds, but he did get dropped twice. So, and I watched or I saw one of Adorno's posts on Instagram. He claimed that he was the underdog. That I don't know. It seemed like he knew he was the underdog in the fight. Like Top Rank was trying to send a message to him or something like that. So he was well aware of it. All in all, great fight. I hope these guys can do it again. But what do you think is the likelihood of these guys getting a rematch with each other? You think it's?
I think it's very likely.
Really?
I think so. However, I don't know if it's going to happen under Top Rank.
Really?
What'd you think of the draw?
I thought it was a good draw because it was Jermaine Ortiz did win the majority of the rounds, but Adorno did drop him twice.
Exactly.
So that's why it's, on paper, had he not gotten one of those knockdowns, I thought Jermaine Ortiz would have beat him. But Joseph Adorno does pack some power, and I feel like that power did save him in this fight. But you can't discredit him. I think Jermaine Ortiz was definitely there to win, and he's definitely no pushover. No. This guy can box. He's crafty. He does have some good pop as well. It just seemed that against a guy like Adorno, you're gonna have to take some risks. If you get clipped, I mean, you're gonna have to take one in order to give one. And Adorno's one of those fighters he's very sharp when he wants to be. He's fast. He's got those fast counter punching abilities, and he's got that power. So at any point in the fight, he can drop you, knock you out, or something. So it was definitely a good fight. I'm not mad at it.
One thing you said earlier, his cardio is in question. He was winning heading into that last round, and in that last round was probably his lowest output. So had this fight gone 2 more rounds, I think Ortiz definitely, beats him.
Could have been.
8-round fight, 14-0 guys. It was okay that it's an 8-round fight, but in a 10-round fight, I think Ortiz would have beat him. But like you said, the draw was extremely fair. I would like to see Adorno jab and control more of the dead, less dead spaces, because there's spaces where he throws 0 punches, and I'm talking 30 to 45 seconds of no punches thrown.
Right.
And he's just saving it all up for that one big left hook or that one big uppercut. And yes, when he lands them, they're difference makers. But at the same time, if they don't land, then there's no difference to be made. So, he's losing those 45 seconds of that round trying to look for that one punch. And if it doesn't land, well, he gets himself into his own trouble. Right. I don't know. He's got a lot of things going on. I don't know if it's training with his pops. I mean, his pops is a good trainer. Took him through the amateurs. From what I know, he's doing the right things. It could be just a personal thing where he's in his comfort zone, Maybe he's in his comfort zone. He's got to get out of that comfort zone. So I would like to see the rematch right away. I don't know if we get it right away, though. Hopefully
they make it. What'd you think about Timothy Bradley and Andre Ward? Did they definitely rip Adorno?
They ripped him, and it was look, we say ripped because they did rip him, right. But Adorno should take it as constructive criticism. They can see it. These guys are world champions. These guys have been to the top, but these guys have also gone through these spells of being 14-0, 15-0, 16-0, and this type of competition. When you fight this type of competition, you got to get up for it, and you have to put everything you have into a training camp so that stuff like this doesn't happen on fight night. They see it. A lot of people see it. Joseph Adorno needs to see it. Because I'm not saying anything about Jermaine Ortiz because I thought he was well prepared, like you said. He was well prepared. He was ready to go. He could have gotten another 2 rounds. I don't know if Adorno could have gotten another 2 rounds. He was in survival mode in that last round because he was dead tired. So yes, we say that they were ripping him, but Adorno needs to take that as constructive criticism. You got to get out of your comfort zone, and you got to try to, if this is what you want to do, you got to put everything into it. You got to forget about everything outside of the ring and worry just about this career because, the kid has talent. Nobody's questioning his talent. It's all about the cardio. Nobody's questioning his heart because he has heart, It's the cardio and it's just the decisions that are being made inside of the ring. All that needs to come from training camp.
Yeah.
So those are my thoughts on Joseph Adorno.
All right.
I still believe in the kid, but, he's got to get out of his comfort zone. One last guy I wanted to talk about, Xander Zayas. That guy is a beast, man. Had a nice first-round knockout over an 8-1 DeMarcus Layton. Set up his punches beautifully. Landed a nice left hook. Was able to hurt him. Get him down. Get him out of there. Very high on Xander Zayas. I would like to see him again in the future. Jeremy Adorno had a majority decision. Brother of Joseph Adorno, who we just talked about.
Did he have a rough fight or?
No, I thought he won the fight unanimous decision, but they gave it a majority decision. It is what it is, but I thought he won the fight fairly clearly.
Okay. Tough night at the office, I guess.
For the judges, maybe.
Okay.
All right. We've been on here for almost 50 minutes. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, we're good. What about the Mortal Kombat? It debuted,
If you guys haven't watched Mortal Kombat, mixed reviews all over the place from what I've seen. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought so. If you haven't played, Mortal Kombat games, things like that, then you're not gonna really understand it. But all in all, I liked it. So
even watching some of the past movies, if you watch some of the past movies, a little bit of what they're talking about.
Right.
But you got to be patient with it, and you got to not watch it with your kids because my kids were freaked out.
Yeah, it's definitely a gory movie. Gory.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching this episode of the 8 Sports Podcast. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Thanks a lot, guys.